So I've actually given versions of this presentation in various different formats, anywhere from an hour to a half-day workshop. But as I mentioned, I'll kind of give an abridged version here so that we have plenty of time for discussion. So just to start off with some definitions. A mentor is a person who helps a more junior person develop professionally through a combination of advising on projects, skills development, creation of opportunities, and personal growth in an intensive manner over an extended period of time. And I think the key phrases here are intensive manner, so it's not just a one-time meeting, over an extended period of time, which can last months, years, and even decades sometimes. The word mentor comes from Greek mythology. In Homer's Odyssey, mentor is Odysseus's trusted friend who runs the household when Odysseus leaves. And Athena, disguised as mentor, counsels Odysseus' son, Telemachus. So, but then by kind of the mid-18th century, the word mentor came to be considered kind of a wise counselor. So in your career, you can think of a kind of a spectrum of helpers. You might have some advisors. These are people who give you focused, pointed help. There may be some facilitators. These are people who open doors for you, create opportunities, link you to networks. But a mentor is really the full-blown deal. Now you say we practice evidence-based medicine, right? So we want some evidence that mentors actually make a difference. And so there actually is some evidence in the literature. It's been shown that mentors are perceived by mentees as being important to career advancement and career satisfaction, that having a mentor may be related to choosing an academic career, and there's an apparent benefit on productivity and success for the mentee as well. Mentored medical school faculty develop better research skills and better research preparation, and at least mentored primary care fellows are more likely to publish papers and more likely to secure funding as a PI early in their career. But there are some disturbing aspects regarding mentorship. The prevalence of having a mentor in academics ranges from anywhere from 19% to 93%. And men are 3 times as likely as women to have a positive relationship with a mentor. And then 10 to 32% of mentees report that their mentor used their work to further the mentor's career rather than the mentee's career. And that's mentoring malpractice, if you ask me. So what are the expectations of a mentor? Well, a mentor should help the trainee choose a research project or research projects, meet with a trainee regularly, and I'm putting in parentheses here, weekly as an example, to review progress in research and didactic coursework, give timely feedback on manuscript or grant drafts. So in my opinion, that should be like within a week. Advise trainee on seeking funding, prepare the trainee for abstract presentations, assign credit, such as first authorship where credit is due, counsel the trainee on job opportunities and negotiating for jobs, serve as a mirror for the mentee to self-reflect from time to time, and nurture the mentee, but then set the mentee free. Now, I was part of a mentoring award committee, and we solicited nominations from mentees about their mentors. We asked them what were the characteristics of that mentor that led them to nominate them. And so these are all quotes from the mentee's perspective on what makes a great mentor. They say things like, the mentor writes well, both macro editing and in terms of micro editing. They're a stickler for details, yet they're able to see the bigger picture. They're fast. They're never the rate limiting step in the mentee's research. Their door is always open, literally. They keep up with the literature. They push the mentee to develop his or her own research agenda, not that of the mentor. If the mentee works on the mentor's project or projects, it's as a stepping stone for the mentee. They don't try to clone the mentee. They guide, but they don't control. They nominate mentees for awards and important roles in national organizations. They create opportunities. They're matchmakers. They develop team building skills. They're able to separate the worthwhile from the waste of time, things like certain committees and maybe even people, potential collaborators for the mentee. They encourage the mentee to pause and ask the so what question about their research. They're excellent teachers. They're willing to take chances. They're always encouraging. And here's a direct quote: they know how to inspire, motivate, congratulate, and criticize, all without creating a sense of antagonism or favoritism. They have a sense of humility. They're selfless. They lead by example. They are a role model in balancing personal and professional lives. They're not the mentee's best friend, but they really care about the mentee's personal life. They are proactive, so that they don't wait until the mentee comes to him or her with problems. They can work with mentees whose interests do not align exactly with the mentors. And so they attract mentees from outside of their own shop. And finally, they leave a long-lasting impact, lasting well beyond the time the mentee still, quote-unquote, needs the mentor. So obviously not every mentor, great mentor even, has all these characteristics, but hopefully they have most of them. And if they have few to none of them, you don't want that person as a mentor. Now, mentoring is a bidirectional relationship, and just as there are expectations from a mentor, there are also expectations from a mentee. So a mentee should know him or herself. They should work hard. They should be proactive, flexible, and innovative. They need to focus, focus, focus. They should be respectful. They should be prepared when meeting with the mentor, and be responsive to the mentor's feedback. They should, with the help of the mentor, identify personal goals, seek feedback, keep a record of their development progress, take responsibility for themselves, stay open to new ideas and suggestions, use feedback to improve performance, use their mentor as a role model. Again, be respectful and considerate, and demonstrate, your own best qualities. Now, especially in today's day and age, there are some special issues that come up, specifically things like gender, race, and age differences between the mentor and the mentee. For at least for core areas, those shouldn't be a major obstacle, but they can have an influence on how well the mentoring relationship goes. Co-mentorship, we did a study, was shown to be generally effective. So 87% of co-mentors believe that their co-mentored proteges had received a better experience than had they just had a single mentor. And so a sample model would be to have a primary mentor for the research domain, and then a secondary mentor or mentors for professional development, advocacy, psychosocial support, etc. And another study was showed that long-distance mentorship was considered generally ineffective. Now, this was, keep in mind, this was done before the era of Zoom and Teams and all that stuff. And so I think the results would probably be different if we repeated this study. But at least at the time, 78% of long-distance mentors did not find that long-distance mentoring was as effective for the protege. The idea being that it's probably better to have your mentor or mentors close by physically, so you can literally see them in the hallway, walk into their office, etc. But again, I think that may be changing somewhat in this new distance mentoring time. So I think I've raised some points where there may be some misunderstanding or miscommunication between, or misexpectations between a mentor and a mentee. And so others have developed these mentoring agreements or contracts or compacts, they're sometimes called. And so these are written documents, almost like prenuptials, before a mentor and a mentee kind of solidify their mentoring relationship. And so a mentoring agreement would include things related to research. So regarding the mentee's productivity in terms of number of abstracts, papers, grant applications, that would be reasonable. How to judge the progress of the mentee towards independence, and how to conduct research responsibly on both parties. It would include some educational activities for career development, and then a variety of career development skills such as writing, speaking, reviewing, managing time, and leading teams. What are some indicators in terms of progress towards promotion? How can the mentor network on behalf of the mentee? What are some issues regarding work-life balance that could be addressed? And then eventually plans for gaining independence from the mentor. They also include some discussion about support, so in terms of protected time for the mentee, but also how much time the mentor is going to have for that mentee. What resources might be made available, and then any advocacy and emotional support that mentee might want. Communication, and this is key, frequency and structure of meetings. These are all often spelled out in detail, so weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or something like that. Progress reports on how things are going, feedback, and importantly, confidentiality. And then things like personal conduct and interpersonal relationships, things like how would we manage conflicts if they come up, what's the authorship order going to be on a paper, etc. Some of these mentoring agreements get really specific, like they might say, okay, you as the protege, you can have first dibs on this data set, but if in 6 months you don't publish something on it, we're going to hand it off to somebody else. So it can be that specific.